So welcome back to part 4 of the Creativity series, and today's 7. Now, yesterday we were focusing on resistance towards a particular idea or problem, difficulty. Today I'd like to focus on the opposite thing, actually, and that's any sense of sort of attachment or grasping or craving towards a difficulty or obstacle. That may sound strange, but actually what we often do in trying to find a solution is to really grab hold of a problem rather than pushing it away, and we try to sort of forcefully reach a solution. Now, if you listen to the words that I'm using within the visualization, I'm talking about this obstacle sort of floating down, and I think the feather is a great analogy for this. So if we're allowing a feather to sort of float down towards the floor, we don't sort of grab hold of it mid-air and try and move it quicker towards the floor. We allow it to float quite naturally. And that's what we're doing here. We're not trying to speed up the process by grabbing hold of it and making something happen. We're allowing this thing, this difficulty, this problem to float down in its own time, in its own way. Some days you may find that happens very quickly, some days more slowly. And the same with the process of it dissolving as well. Sometimes people say to me, well, it feels like it dissolves and then it sort of reappears again. Well, that's fine if it does. Again, you just imagine it dissolving. So there's no kind of set time, and that's why I'm giving you a little bit more space within the meditation now to do it in your own time, so that it feels very natural. Not pushing it away, not trying to speed it up to bring it any closer. Just letting it unfold in its own time and in its own way. So as you get settled now, either on the chair or on the floor, eyes open, and just beginning the exercise with some deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And the next time you breathe out, the body exhales, just closing the eyes as you become more aware of each of the physical senses. And bringing the attention back to the body, if it's not with the body already. Becoming more aware of those physical sensations, noticing if there are any that you're particularly drawn to, that feel particularly nice. And as you scan down through the body, from head to toe, at the same time noticing the underlying mood or emotion, and noticing if there's any sense of attachment or of wanting more of that particular emotion or even a different emotion. So just scanning down in the usual way now. As always, remembering why you're doing the exercise, why you're doing it today. Perhaps bringing to mind the people close to you, the people you care about, the people around you in your life. And just knowing that it benefits them as well as yourself when you take time out and move towards that place of contentment in the mind. And now with an effortless quality, just shifting the attention to the breath, a rising and falling sensation. Becoming more familiar with the rhythm of the breath without trying to change it in any way at all. And carrying that effortless quality into the visualization as well. So just remaining with the breath for the next couple of minutes. as that pinprick of light reappears in the chest, the middle of the body, always been there, just becoming more aware of it now. As it slowly begins to expand. As you visualize that expansion, remember the qualities of lightness, of brightness, of warmth, of clarity. When it's fully expanded, just sitting for a short while with that quiet confidence before allowing that difficulty to float down and dissolve within that space in its own time. For once again, visualizing a very clear, very still image. So just follow that through now in your own time. And as always, with that feeling as though that spaciousness goes far beyond the form of the body, just gently letting the mind wander off and do whatever it wants to do. And now just bringing the attention back to the body, back to the physical senses, space around you, points of contact, sounds. As you open the eyes, just a very seamless transition again between meditation and mindfulness. Still an awareness of the present moment, an awareness of how you're feeling, and an awareness of how you intend to be mindful, to remind yourself of this feeling, this creative, spontaneous feeling throughout the day today. And when you've done that, you can just sit back in the chair. Now, in the same way as yesterday, when you sort of notice the resistance, the resistance sort of softens a little bit. I think exactly the same thing happens, and hopefully you found that it did happen for you today. That when you notice a sense of urgency of trying to make something happen, simply in noticing that arising in the mind, you sort of let go of it a little bit. It begins to soften. This is a dynamic that you can apply to everything in life. I think it works particularly well within this context, within this exercise. So when you're applying this visualization throughout the day today, when you bring to mind that spacious, clear, bright attitude, and when you allow the difficulty to just sort of dissolve within that space, you're not doing it to try to remove the problem as quickly as possible. You're not doing it to try to reach an answer or an idea as quickly as possible. You're simply pointing the difficulty in a particular direction and allowing the process to unfold at its own speed, in its own time, and in its own way. There's something very liberating about this, not having to do anything, but also we become more aware of that creative aspect of mind and the fact that it is innate, that it's always, always there if we just allow it to come to the forefront of the mind. But I'll leave it there for now.